Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Saira Mujtaba bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India is taking new initiatives for global welfare inspired by teachings of Lord Buddha. Addresses Global Buddhist Summit in New Delhi. Prime Minister Modi and his Denmark counterpart Mette Frederiksen review progress of India-Denmark Green Strategic Partnership. India's Home Minister Amit Shah chairs meeting of head of departments of member states of Shanghai Cooperation Organization in New Delhi. EU-India Aviation Summit begins in New Delhi. Focus on EU-India air transport relations and mutually shared challenges and opportunities of the two regions. New Delhi conveys its deepest condolence to government and people of Yemen on Sana'a incident which claimed more than 78 lives. And sports in cricket, Australia announces 17-member team for World Test Championship finals against India. And in IPL, Royal Challengers Bangalore defeat Punjab Kings by 24 runs at Mohali. Match between Delhi Capitals and Kolkata Knight Riders underway in Delhi. And now the news in detail. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the noble teachings of Gautam Buddha have impacted countless people over centuries. In his keynote speech at the Global Buddhist Summit in New Delhi on Thursday, Mr. Modi said, Buddha is an understanding beyond the individual and a thought beyond form. He stated that inspired by the teachings of Lord Buddha, India is taking new initiatives for global welfare. He added that his government has continuously spread the values of Lord Buddha. Mr. Modi said that his government improved the Buddha circuit in India and Nepal. He said that be it Kushinagar International Airport or Lumbini, where India International Center for Buddhist Culture is being established, India is working holistically to achieve them.
हमने बुद्ध की शिक्षाओं को जन जन तक पहुंचाने के लिए एक समर्पण भाव से काम किया है। भारत और नेपाल में बुद्ध सर्किट का विकास हो, सारनाथ कुशीनगर जैसे तीर्थों के कायाकल्प के प्रयास हो, कुशीनगर इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट हो, लुम्बिनी में भारत और आईबीसी के सहयोग से इंडिया इंटरनेशनल सेंटर फॉर बुद्धिस्ट कल्चर एंड हेरिटेज का निर्माण हो, भारत के ऐसे हर काम में पति पत्नी की प्रेरणा शामिल है.
The Prime Minister highlighted that in this Amrit Kal, India has taken new initiatives on many subjects and the biggest inspiration for this is Lord Buddha. He said India has given Buddha to the world and not war. He further stated that Buddha offered solutions for all the problems afflicting the world today.
क्लाइमेट चेंज जैसी चुनौती पूरी मानवता के अस्तित्व पर आफत बनकर मंडरा रही है. ग्लेशियर्स पिघल रहे हैं, इकोलॉजी नष्ट हो रही है, प्रजातियां विलुप्त हो रही हैं, लेकिन इस सब के बीच हमारे आप जैसे करोड़ों लोग भी हैं जिन्हें बुद्ध में आस्था है, जीव मात्र के कल्याण में विश्वास है. ये उम्मीद, ये विश्वास ही इस धरती की सबसे बड़ी ताकत है.
Mr. Modi said had the world followed Gautam Buddha's teachings, it would not have faced the problem of climate change. Throwing light on lifestyle for environment or mission life, an initiative by India influenced by the inspirations of Gautam Buddha, the Prime Minister said that if people become aware and change their lifestyle, then the huge problem of climate change can also be tackled. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday had a telephonic conversation with Prime Minister of Denmark, Mette Frederiksen. The two leaders reviewed the progress of the India-Denmark Green Strategic Partnership and expressed their satisfaction at the recent high-level exchanges and growing cooperation. The two leaders also agreed to celebrate the 75th anniversary of India-Denmark relations next year in 2024 in a befitting manner and to explore areas to diversify their relations further. During the conversation, Prime Minister Modi congratulated Ms. Frederiksen on her appointment as the Prime Minister of Denmark for a second term. Mr. Modi briefed his Danish counterpart on India's ongoing presidency of the G20 and its key priorities, and Ms. Frederiksen appreciated India's initiatives and conveyed Denmark's full support to them. Minister of Home Affairs Amit Shah has said that India attaches special importance to disaster risk reduction and is ready to share its expertise and experience in this field for greater cooperation and mutual trust among Shanghai Cooperation Organization or SCO member states. He said India now has a more accurate and timely early warning system in place for emergency situations like drought, flood, lightning, heat wave, cold wave and cyclone. Mr. Shah said this while chairing the meeting of heads of departments of SCO member states responsible for prevention and elimination of emergency situations in New Delhi on Thursday. He said that India's approach to early warning system is people-centric and the government wants to ensure that its forecasting and warning system is not just scientifically advanced, but it is also communicated in a manner that is understandable, usable and actionable by the common man. India has expressed its readiness to evacuate Indian citizens from conflict-ridden Sudan, but has emphasized that the process is contingent upon the situation on the ground. Briefing the media in New Delhi on Thursday, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi noted that the situation in Sudan is highly tense at present. Replying to a query on the Indian embassy in Sudan being attacked, Mr. Bagchi said that war is very intense in the area where the embassy is situated. However, the attack cannot be confirmed. He also informed that the embassy officials are also working from different locations. Mr. Bagchi also said that the embassy is in constant touch with the Indians there.
We have been keeping a very close watch on the evolving situation there. Our mission in Khartoum has been in contact with the Indian community there through multiple channels, informal, formal. Our embassy has issued several advisories. We have set up a 24/7 dedicated control room for providing information and assistance, and the coordinates of those control rooms has been shared publicly. We are engaged with countries in the region and other countries that have a key role to play.
India has conveyed its deepest condolence to the government and people of Yemen on the incident in Sana'a in which more than 78 people lost their lives. These people were killed in a crush at a school in the Yemeni capital Sana'a when charity kits were being distributed for Ramadan on Wednesday. India has prayed for the speedy recovery of those injured in the incident. At a press briefing in New Delhi, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said, the tragic incident comes at a time when there have been anchoring developments in the Yemen situation. He said India welcomes the release of nearly 1,000 prisoners by the parties to the conflict, which has taken place over the last few days. He said India hopes for an early establishment of peace, stability and security in Yemen. The two-day EU-India Aviation Summit began in New Delhi on Thursday. The summit focuses on EU-India air transport relations and mutually shared challenges and opportunities of the two regions, including post-COVID recovery of air traffic and increasing sustainability. Addressing the summit virtually, Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia said that India and the European Union, EU, have shared strong historical relations which continue to grow on the back of robust physical, digital and people-to-people connectivity aided by the aviation industry. He said the government has taken several steps to promote aircraft manufacturing in the country. The Civil Aviation Minister invited EU players to partner India in developing adaptive technologies and support the objective of tackling emissions from the aviation industry. He added that the government is encouraging airports to use 100% green energy by 2024 and achieve net zero emissions by 2030. He informed that 25 airports are already using 100% green energy and the target is to make another 121 airports carbon neutral by 2025. During the summit, a declaration of intent was signed by Airport Authority of India with Eurocontrol, and a letter of intent and MOU was also signed by Directorate General of Civil Aviation with the European Union Aviation Safety for closer cooperation. In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a news commentary on India's robust Latin American outreach. The commentary has been written by Dr. Ash Narayan Roy, Director, Institute of Social Sciences.
In its pursuit of global influence, India is consciously seeking advantages from diverse relationships which entail multidimensional international engagements. To this end, Dr. S. Shankar is undertaking an almost 10-day-long 4-nation visit to Latin America. No Indian Prime Minister or External Affairs Minister spent as many days as Dr. Shankar has done till now in the region. The External Affairs Minister visited Brazil, Paraguay and Argentina in August 2022. That 3-nation outreach marks the dawning of a new era and a start of a new chapter in India-Latin America relations. This week, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar will be embarking on an official visit to Guyana, Panama, Colombia and Dominican Republic. This will be his first visit to these countries by Dr. Shankar as External Affairs Minister. In Guyana, Dr. Shankar will be calling on the leadership and interacting with several ministers. He will be co-chairing the Joint Commission meeting with his counterpart, Mr. Hugh Hilton Todd, that will entail discussions on the whole gamut of issues between the two countries. External Affairs Minister's visit to Guyana would also be an opportunity for a meeting of foreign ministers in the India-COFCOR Council on Foreign and Community Relations, a group of 15-member Caribbean Community CARICOM format, and hold bilateral meetings with participating ministers. In Panama, the External Affairs Minister will be calling on top leadership and would be hosted by Foreign Minister Ms. Janena Tewani Mencomo. During this visit, the India-SICA Foreign Ministerial meeting will also be convened, wherein he would meet representatives of the 8-country Central American Integration System SICA. External Affairs Minister's Colombia visit would be a first foreign ministerial level visit to the country. He would be meeting several top representatives of the government, business and civil society. Foreign Minister of Colombia, Mr. Alvaro Leiva Duran, and Dr. Shankar would review the bilateral ties. The visit to Dominican Republic is the highest level visit from India since the establishment of diplomatic relations in 1999. External Affairs Minister's visit would take place after the establishment of India's resident embassy in Santo Domingo in 2022. Apart from calling on the country's political leadership, Dr. Shankar would be holding discussions with Foreign Minister Roberto Alvarez. The two leaders would also formally inaugurate the Indian resident mission. A business delegation from India led by the Confederation of Indian Industries CII will be joining EAM at business events that are planned during the course of the visit. These meetings underline the growing interest on both sides for stronger trade ties. EAM will also be meeting members of the Indian community in all 4 countries. External Affairs Minister's visit to these 4 countries, his bilateral engagements as well as interactions with counterparts of important regional groups, CARICOM and SICA adds to the momentum of the India-LAC engagements. It will provide an opportunity to continue high-level contacts with countries in Latin America and the Caribbean and explore new areas of cooperation in a whole host of areas, particularly in the post-pandemic scenario. India is looking to forge close and mutually beneficial partnerships with the Latin American nations. South America, too, seems to be ready to play ball with India. India is looking for markets in the region but also raw materials. The Asian Development Bank suggests that India has the potential to mirror the recent economic performance of China. More importantly, the ADB study says that India is Latin America's next big thing. Over the years, Latin America has changed beyond recognition. It is no more a metaphor for civil strife and endemic violence. India still punches below its weight and potential as far as Latin America is concerned. Taking the continent all the way to the high table in the UN requires building alliances and partnerships. Though the frequency of high-level visits has increased significantly, Prime Minister Modi's visit to the region is long overdue. India must think big. Good foreign policy requires prudence, but it also requires boldness and imagination. A vibrant foreign policy requires not just new imagination, but also constant reaffirmation. For India-Latin America ties to become big, Dr. Shankar has brought out a new compass to walk the path towards a bright future.
That was a hotspot section, and now in some more news. The Culture Working Group CWG under India's G20 presidency organized a global thematic webinar on the topic Promotion of Cultural and Creative Industries and Creative Economy. This webinar was the third in a series of 4 that focuses on priority areas as articulated by the CWG. The aim of the webinar was to foster an inclusive dialogue and facilitate an in-depth discussion from an expert-driven perspective. In his opening remarks, Secretary in the Culture Ministry and Chairperson of CWG, Govind Mohan, emphasized for fostering a vibrant and inclusive cultural ecosystem that values and supports creativity and which can have positive impact on individuals, communities and society. He said, the cultural and creative sector is also a catalyst for change, empowering individuals and communities, promoting freedom of expression and cross-cultural dialogue. He highlighted the need to support the sector and establish an environment where creativity and innovation can thrive. The Ministry of Culture said that the webinar witnessed fruitful discussions and sharing of best practices on promotion of cultural and creative industries and creative economy. The webinar also brought together 43 experts from 28 countries, including G20 members and guest nations, as well as 13 international organizations and relevant institutions. India has proposed to develop a G20 park in New Delhi to symbolize togetherness on the path of development as part of its year-long presidency of the organization. It will showcase sculptures depicting national animals and birds of the G20 countries made with waste to wonder concept. The art pieces will be created on site in a 20-day-long national camp mode from Friday and will run till the 1st of May. Each art piece will be made of scrap and other waste material sourced from the yards of New Delhi Municipal Council and other agencies. Artists from different Indian states are working on the artwork projects to create sculptures including the Indian peacock, American bison, Brazilian jaguar, red-crowned crane from China, Korean magpie, Australian emu, Canadian grey jay, Russian brown bear and the Mexican golden eagle. The artists will be assisted by a team of students from leading art colleges. This is All India Radio giving you the world news. Welcome back. U.S. President Joe Biden's administration announced $325 million as the 36th security package in new military aid for Ukraine on Wednesday. The package also includes additional ammunition for high-mobility artillery rocket systems, which is a missile launcher mounted on a truck that can fire multiple guided missiles in quick succession, advanced missiles and anti-tank mines, and also Patriot air defense system. The current aid brings the U.S. military assistance for the Kyiv government to more than $35.4 billion. Some 67 million children partially or fully missed routine vaccines globally between 2019 and 21 because of lockdowns and healthcare disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, the UN said on Wednesday. More than a decade of hard-earned gains in routine childhood immunization have been eroded, read a new report from UN's children agency, UNICEF, adding that getting back on track will be challenging. Of the 67 million children whose vaccinations were severely disrupted, 48 million missed out on routine vaccines entirely, UNICEF said, flagging concerns about potential polio and measles outbreaks. Vaccine coverage among children declined in 112 countries, and the percentage of children vaccinated worldwide slipped 5 points to 81%, a low not seen since 2008. Africa and South Asia were particularly hard hit. Vaccines save 4.4 million lives each year, a number the UN figures could jump to 5.8 million by 2030 if its ambitious targets to leave no one behind are met. A UN report says there has to be a major shift in global governance to better tackle such current and looming challenges as the climate crisis and rising security threats. Launched by the UN's High-Level Advisory Board on Effective Multilateralism, a breakthrough for people and planet, effective and inclusive global governance for today and the future, outlines an ambitious plan to overhaul the global architecture. Co-chaired by former President of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and former Prime Minister of Sweden, Stefan Löfven, the advisory board was appointed by the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres in 2022, tasked with advising member states on issues of key global concern where better governance could make a difference. Governments of Assam and Arunachal Pradesh have signed an agreement for the settlement of an interstate boundary dispute between the two states. This important agreement was signed by Chief Minister of Assam, Himanta Biswa Sarma, and Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister, Pema Khandu, in presence of Union Home Minister Amit Shah in New Delhi on Thursday. This agreement between the two states will end the dispute relating to 123 villages along the border, and it has been done keeping in view the historical perspective, demographic profile, administrative convenience, proximity to the border, and aspirations of residents. India's Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MeIT, has proposed rules to enable Aadhaar authentication by entities other than government ministries and departments. It aims to promote ease of living and better access to services for citizens. The ministry, in its proposal, said that any entity other than the government ministry or department that desires to use Aadhaar authentication for the purpose of promoting ease of living and enabling better access to services can submit their proposal to the concerned ministry or department of the respective central or state government. The ministry highlighted that entities have to give justification as to how the authentication sought is for one of the said purposes and in the interest of the government. The ministry also asked feedback on amendments from stakeholders and general public in this regard. The feedback can be submitted through the MyGov platform by the 5th of May. Key domestic indices in India today ended flat amid volatility. The BSE Sensex closed above the 59,600 mark, while the NSE Nifty settled near the 17,600 level. Both stocks were up amid mixed global cues. Gold appreciated to 60,402 rupees per 10 grams for June contracts at MCX. A report.
The Sensex added 65 points or 0.11% to finish at 59,632. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange also rose 6 points or 0.03% to settle at 17,624. Asian stocks edged mixed today. Japan's Nikkei accelerated 0.18% and Hong Kong's Hang Seng was up by 0.14%. On the other hand, South Korea's Kospi declined 0.5% and Singapore's Straits Times lost 0.3%. China's Shanghai Composite fell marginally by 0.1%. European shares were negative in intraday trade. Oil prices fell to the lowest in about 3 weeks today, depressed by rate hike expectations which outweighed lower U.S. crude stocks. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading at around $82.06 per barrel. Back home, gold price at multi-commodity exchange for June contracts were trading at around 60,402 rupees per 10 grams. Silver was trading at around 75,663 rupees per kilogram for May contracts. In the forex market, the rupee strengthened 8 paise to close at 82 rupees and 16 paise against the US currency. Rajesh Lake for World News, All India Radio.
On to sports now. In IPL cricket, Punjab Kings defeated Royal Challengers Bangalore by 24 runs at the Punjab Cricket Association Stadium in Mohali. Put to bat first, Bangalore scored 174 for 4 in stipulated 20 overs. In another match, which was delayed due to rain, Kolkata Knight Riders have set a victory target of 128 runs for Delhi Capitals at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi. Kolkata were all out for 127 in 20 overs. In reply, Delhi Capitals were 25 for no loss in 2.1 overs when reports last came in. Earlier, Delhi won the toss and elected to field. And Australia announced 17-member cricket squad for the World Test Championship final and the opening 2 tests of Ashes series. The World Test Championship final will be played between India and Australia on the 7th of June at the Oval. The 15-member squad for Test Championship will be named on the 29th of May. Opener David Warner has secured a place in the World Test Championship final and the Ashes squad. The Australian board has also decided to bring back 3 players, Mitchell Marsh, Josh Inglis and Marcus Harris. And now let's take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The New York Times reports, as Xi befriends world leaders, he hardens his stance on the US. The Guardian writes, Egyptian soldiers captured by Sudanese paramilitary group return home. The Wall Street Journal reports, Yemen crowd crush kills 78 at Ramadan charity event. The Globe and Mail reports, Trudeau privately told NATO Canada would never meet 2% defence spending target. Le Monde writes, France eyes lower spending and more growth to cut public debt. And the Financial Times reports, Yellen to call for constructive and fair economic relationship with China. In some more news, India's Health Ministry has requested states and union territories to develop 100 food streets in 100 districts across the country to promote hygienic and safe food practices. This initiative is being taken up as a pilot project to create an example for other such streets to come up across the country in ensuring hygienic and safe food practices. The aim of this project is to encourage safe and healthy food practices among food businesses and community members. This unique initiative will be implemented through the National Health Mission in convergence with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. The financial assistance of 1 crore rupees per food street or districts will be given to fill up critical gaps. In a letter to the states, Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan and Secretary Housing and Urban Affairs Manoj Joshi highlighted that easy access to safe and hygienic food is vital for the good health of citizens. They said that safe food practices not only promote Eat Right campaign and food safety, but will also improve hygiene credibility of local food businesses, boost local employment and tourism. Indian Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change Bhupender Yadav has released the white tiger cubs in the arena of White Tiger Enclosure in the National Zoological Park in New Delhi. The minister has named the female cub as Avani, meaning Earth, and the male cub as Vyom, which means universe. The parentage consists of father Vijay and mother tigress Sita. These cubs were born in August last year, which are now about 8 months old. And now a quick look at the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India is taking new initiatives for global welfare inspired by teachings of Lord Buddha. Addresses Global Buddhist Summit in New Delhi. Prime Minister Modi and his Danish counterpart Mette Frederiksen review progress of India-Denmark Green Strategic Partnership. India's Home Minister Amit Shah chairs meeting of heads of department of member states of Shanghai Cooperation Organization in New Delhi. EU-India Aviation Summit begins in New Delhi. Focus on EU-India air transport relations and mutually shared challenges and opportunities of the two regions. New Delhi conveys its deepest condolence to government and people of Yemen on Sana'a incident which claimed more than 78 lives. In sports, in cricket, Australia announces 17-member team for World Test Championship final against India. And in IPL, Royal Challengers Bangalore defeat Punjab Kings by 24 runs at Mohali, while match between Delhi Capitals and Kolkata Knight Riders underway in Delhi. And now before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan, Vaishnav Jan, by artists from Sweden. And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.